Welcome to Let's Fucking Chat. I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Alex. Let's talk about some stuff.
Should we begin?
Yes. How's it going?
It's great.
How's life?
It's amazing. We are here in person.
Yep, for the first time.
I know. I just drove 8 hours from Mississippi to be here at this lovely occasion. I'm honored. I'm thrilled.
Thank you.
I have gas from that ramen, but I'm trying to hold it in. Cause it's.
I'm so lucky I didn't finish the ramen. I'm so lucky.
It's made me a little gassy, so I'm sucking it in, as they say. But I think too, this is the first time I've been sober while we've recorded a podcast.
Actually, same kind of.
So you won't hear me burping or cracking a cold one. So I think that's good.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I had a good week. My boss, her dog, almost died, like her support animal.
Ooh.
So that was, yeah, she sent it to me via text on Thursday. And I read the text and I was like, that's not good. I'm fucked. I'm going to have to deal with my new boss and a grieving lady dealing with the death. So, but other than that, it's been good. The drive here was great. As I said before, very long and boring, but nothing Megan Thee Stallion, Taylor Swift, the baby, nothing they can't get you through, honestly. Yeah. So
I don't know. When I'm on long road trips, I cannot listen to music.
Really?
Because I feel like when you listen to music, like well, at least for me, like the end of the song is like a time, so you know that it's been like 3 to 4 minutes.
I love that about the music. I love that.
Oh, because it's like a, I don't know, it's like, oh, only 4 minutes have passed, and I'm like, oh, okay.
That like actually helps me pass the time, like especially listening to like a 5-minute song, because then I'll look at the clock and be like, okay, 5 minutes passed, only 5 more minutes till the next 30-minute marker.
Until the end of 8 hours.
Exactly. Or I'll be like, okay, so I'm at 1, so just 2 and okay, that's just an hour and 30. Just don't die within the hour and 30 and you'll be like, you're good to go, you know?
Yeah. I just can't. I always listen to like podcasts or like, usually podcasts or there's this person I watch, his name is Destiny, and he likes to have arguments about like political arguments.
Nice.
I'm into political shit. And he just likes yelling at people sometimes, and it's really funny a lot of the times. And so it really passes the time, and all of his like videos are like an hour long, 2 hours long. So it's like when I end the video, it's like, all right, it's been 2.5 hours. Cool.
Yeah. See, like I can do a podcast or an audiobook, but then my mind just gets so lost in it that I like start zoning out on like what I'm supposed to be doing.
That's
driving.
What I like. That's what I
so
like.
I can't do that. I literally cannot do a podcast or audiobook.
I need to zone out, especially like when you're just on the highway and just
oh hell
forward.
No,
like,
I can't do that or I'm gonna be like dead.
Okay, to be fair, my car also has it has notifiers, so you can't like go out of the lane. It'll turn your
oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
My car doesn't have that, so
but I still did it with my Toyota before it got crashed.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Yeah, some guy crashed into my Toyota.
Wow.
Sad. What did I name? I think I named that Toyota Void. No, Bay. It was Bay. That Toyota's name was Bay. It's because when I first had it, it had its subwoofers in the back. Okay. And I would always play like my music really, really loud. And then one time, like the subwoofer or the speakers just bursted, and they just stopped working because we played it so loud. And so I was like, well, the bass is fucked in my car, and then I said bass Bay. And that's how it became Bay.
Good. That's good. And now it's deceased.
Now it's deceased. Bay. Yeah, some fucker who I'm pretty sure was high out of his mind.
Really?
Yeah. Like he came out of the car. I would guess that he like had an edible and like it was coming on,
Jesus
and then he like
Christ.
ran into somebody, and then the cops were like trying to talk to him and stuff like that. But he was kind of being like very like, I don't know what you're talking about, high as shit, basically.
That's good.
And they roughed him up too.
Yeah.
And so he was black. And this is only important to the story because like I kind of wanted him to like go to jail because I'm like he obviously looks intoxicated.
Yeah. He's
so, like,
on something.
Yeah, and he was very, very much so being like very like I don't know if belligerent is the word, but just very like
denying
not responding.
it.
He's just not responding properly.
Oh, wow.
Like they're like, hey, drive over there, and he's just driving forward, and he keeps driving
Oh,
forward.
like a very delayed, doing the complete opposite.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like,
Exactly.
he's on.
Yeah,
he's on something.
he's on something.
Yeah.
And so when I saw them like rough him up, like I was like, oh, and honestly, I thought I was gonna see something like really, really cool, like not like of course killing, but I liked watching cops.
Some justice will be served.
Yeah, some
here.
justice will be served. Sometimes, you know, the criminal or whatever needs to get roughed up a bit, and I would have been down for it because you killed my car. Like,
yeah, I have no car no more,
Yeah.
so sir, please.
Yeah, and you're being like super like not like chill, right? Like you're obviously not paying attention and shit like that. But I think the cop, so the part that you know is important because he's black. So I think the cop like saw me. I'm like because I'm black. He's like, oh, this is kind of like
shit.
not.
This isn't the time.
Yeah, this is probably not the time right here. And like I'm like, I know, no, you do you, bro.
Yeah.
Like you're obviously, as far as I know, there was nothing racist there. It was just
See my car.
Yeah.
See my fucking car.
Yeah, look
it's
at this.
fucked up.
Yeah.
Please help me out.
I kind of wanted to, so like I was super chill. Like again, when things happen, like unexpected things happen to me, I get like super chill. And so like when it happened, it was just like it ran into me, and I was just like, huh. I was like, all right, I need to get out of the car.
Yeah.
And then my significant other was basically screaming, and they were like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, all right, what do we do? And I was like, and I'm like, I like called my mom. I'm like, all right, hey mom, so I got into a car crash, and I'm wondering blah 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 blah. And she's like, oh my gosh, is you alright? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine.
I'm okay. Yeah.
And so what I wanted to do was I wanted to order a pizza for everyone.
What the
Even the guy, because I thought that would be really funny because we were actually going out to eat at the time. So I was like, I'm hungry as fuck right now. I want to order a pizza, and I kind of want to also order the pizza for him too.
Oh my god.
Just because of how ironic and nice it would have been, honestly. Because even if he was one, he was high, so he must have loved the pizza, honestly. But I don't know, like when it obviously looked to him that he did not want to crash. Like he might have like taken it maybe, you know, an accident or something like that. But if somebody's upset at me, I feel like the worst I can do to them is be nice. Like the thing that like will piss them off either the most will be nice, me being nice to them. And then after a while, when you're nice to somebody, like they tend to like calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
So you're like, so I don't know. I just wanted to like order a pizza, but I ended up not being able to order the pizza because I had to do a bunch of insurance bullshit.
Yeah, I could see that. They're like, what's your address? I'm at intersection 503 and the car crashed like to the left.
You remember when you drove into here, into the gates?
Yeah.
It was at the stop sign that you took a right at, yeah.
That's where the car accident happened?
Yeah. I was stopped at the stop sign.
What the heck?
Yeah, and he just into me.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
No, thank you. That's like my worst fear. It's just like I've never, knock on wood, I've never been in like a car accident, but just like somebody hitting me, because then I'd be like, I honestly don't know what I'd do either, because like I guess I'd be like, how bad is it? I guess we have to call 911 if it's really bad, or just exchange insurance. Hopefully they're not a fraud.
Yeah. I didn't know what to do, and I'm just glad that I had my significant other with me, because they had their parents, and their parents were like, all right, this is what you're probably gonna need to do. And then that's when I called my mom, and then it all happened. So yeah, when I get into situations like those, I just do not know what the fuck to do. So I'm just like, all right, like I didn't even call the cops. The cops just came. None of us came and called the cops.
Oh my god.
The cops just got there. So I'm assuming like somebody like around called the cops. But yeah, no, we were just like just chilling there, like, all right, what am I doing right now?
Did that guy like, does he live in here or something?
I think so. I
Really?
think he does. Or at least he was driving in here for sure.
Yeah.
He must have lived here because he was driving alone basically, and it was in the middle of the day.
True.
Yeah.
Interesting. So how's your week?
My week was fun, actually. No, was it fun? That was my week like. I don't even remember, especially from the last podcast.
That's good.
Because the last podcast was like 3 or 4 days ago.
It was.
Recorded, yeah.
On a Tuesday.
I still haven't uploaded the podcast video. I haven't edited it yet. That means we're not uploading it until tomorrow. Oof. Well, we don't have any real like subscribers yet.
No, I know.
So
there's like 6. So
yeah.
I don't know who the others are, but
yeah, there must be like 1 or 2. I think we should. Yeah. So that what do we do? Yeah, clipping the sections I think might be really good, and then putting them out like between. I think that might be really good for like short form, because I think that if I were like a podcast, if I was looking for a podcast, it'd be a lot cooler for me to be able to say, okay, what are their conversations like?
Little sneak preview.
Yeah, rather than like going all in and just being like, all right, who are you? You know, especially like I don't know if most people will like always go to the first podcast.
I don't know. I mean, like the first one had like a lot because it was like the first thing. Yeah. But you know, as everything like as you continue, it kind of just goes a little downhill.
Exactly. It got way more chill.
Yes.
Recording got way easier. Like it just kind of like happens now. I remember.
It does. I don't think I'm ever gonna use that fucking desktop ever again. If there's a rainstorm, like I'm good on that. I just try to be fancy and use what we have, but no.
Yep, that's the reason why it's actually taking a long time. It's just so you probably heard if you've watched the previous podcast, but we had a lot of technical issues, so we had to cut out coming in a lot. And it was mainly because of a storm, right? Yeah, the weather. So that was very, very unfortunate. But you know, it is what it is, honestly.
I know. It's what I get for using a fucking desktop, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
And when it's raining, I didn't think it'd be so bad.
So we need to start like clipping out our videos for sure. That's absolutely. Other than that, I feel like my week's okay. How was your week?
It was good, like I said before. It was good.
Like you said before?
Yes.
Did you say it before? Did we already?
Yes, you asked me that first.
Did I?
Yeah, you did. Maybe you should stop smoking.
I think I asked, how are you? Okay, whatever. Yeah, like,
I think same thing. How are you? How's your week? Same thing.
Let's actually discuss this. The reason why this podcast is going to be a little bit different than what we said last time in the previous podcast, which okay, so I'm going to try to explain it, and then you can explain it properly.
We are bringing awareness to mental health. It is May.
Yep.
M is for Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yeah.
It was awareness, Mental Health Awareness Month. So,
yeah.
We are dedicating this episode to Mental Health Awareness Month 2021.
Yeah. So, we won't have the movie in this one. We're basically just talking straight about mental health. That's not good.
Is that your camera?
That's really not good.
Did it turn off?
That's not good at all.
So, this episode, we're dedicating it to Mental Health Awareness Month.
We already said that though.
Okay. So, it is since 1949 is when it started as May being Mental Health Month to reach out to millions of people. So, it was a media, local events and screenings, and of course, due to COVID-19, this has really boosted everyone's mental health, whether it be up, mostly down.
Yeah, mostly
so
down.
I think the 2021 month really marks a new wave of looking at our own mental health within. And we both took tests for depression, anxiety, and eating disorders. I don't know how you want to start this out. Should we just talk about our own mental health from 2021 so far?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So for me, especially when it comes to COVID, I strangely my mental health has actually boosted. Now, granted, I've also been taking like therapy, or rather, I was taking therapy. I actually stopped taking therapy. Nothing was happening. But I was taking therapy, and I was also taking medication.
Okay.
So it wasn't like it wasn't a lot of it probably not being COVID. It wasn't COVID's fault, but because of COVID, it made me kind of think about, my mental health a little bit more, and it made me want to try out things like, therapy and stuff like that. And therapy is actually pretty cool, especially if you have the right therapist. Especially when it comes to therapy, there is a therapist that works for you, and there are therapists that don't work for you. So don't give up if you don't like your therapist the first time, because sometimes they just don't fit with you.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, and my therapist was pretty cool, and I have to remember to, whenever I start making like really, really good music, to send her some of the music because she wanted to hear.
Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah,
there you go.
exactly.
You can be like, quick email, hey, I'm doing great. Here's my music. Thank you for your help.
Yeah.
Listen to this if you like it. I don't know. shout me out to your patients. Drop my link in like the receipt or the
check out
invoice.
my mixtape, please.
Right. This was what one of my clients started at, and now this is where he's at today. This could be you.
Yeah.
Even if it's not through.
You could be famous one day.
Oh God, shut up. That's funny. I would say my mental health, like through COVID, I got to stay home from my job, which was nice. But that also led to like heavily relying on alcohol. And like for a week, I just like binge drink at night because like I had nothing else to do the next morning. So like what was the point? And I think that really led to a very kind of like dark hole that I have like with alcohol.
Yeah.
Like I have a really bad self-control over it. That's why like I cannot just do like last night. I only had like one White Claw. And I was like, I need to go to bed because, like, tomorrow I have to drive. So, like, I cannot be, like, hungover. It will not be a successful trip. And I won't leave until, like, 10. So, yeah, I feel like, it's really made me, like, grossly reliant on alcohol to feel like I'm having a good enough time for something. Or even if I'm by myself. Because then it, like, passes time for me. Which is not a really good thing to rely on.
Yeah.
I should be able just to, like, I don't know, soberly watch a TV show. Or, like, just play my video game and, like, go to bed.
Yeah.
But like I literally can't for some reason. If I'm like in this really bad state of mind, or if I just like crack open one, it leads to like literally 5, and then I have like a shitty ass day the next day, and it's like I did that to myself. So I think COVID and my mental health, it's kind of like had its really bad ups and downs, but I think it's more ups because I'm like realizing like maybe I shouldn't be so like dependent on alcohol. Like it's just bad overall, like, and I need to like have more self-control. So I feel like at least through COVID I've like had this discovery, and recently how like I need more just like self-control over literally fucking drinking, because like I just need it.
Yeah,
it's just good for like your health, your liver, the next day. Like you just need it. So I feel like that has been a nice like eye-opener. And just, you know, being sober, yeah, it's kind of boring, but I have to remind myself, like, if you can't have fun being sober, then I'm like a fuck up. Like, I fucked up. Like, I need to be able to have fun sober because that's how you remember things. And you can do things the next morning and so forth and so forth. So I think for me, it really has led to, like, a nice discovery. And, yeah, I think so far I'm just you know, trying to have more self-control over alcohol. You know, not let it take me over.
In a way, coronavirus, especially in both, it seems like in both of our cases, like kind of helped us, you know, worry about ourselves and think about like where we were mentally.
Yeah, like self-discovery within.
Like, so in a way, you know, going out and having things to do outside, of course you have problems on the outside, so you're probably more worried about those all the time. But today, now that like we, you know, you're in your room, you know, you don't really have much to do, there's no outside problems, it's like, all right, what do I have to worry about now? It's like, oh yeah, my brain.
My health. Me.
Exactly. And when it comes to like alcohol, like your problem was what I was afraid of when it came to my Delta 8, because I started like pacifying on it, just because it's like, it's just chill, it makes me chill, it makes things more fun, but whenever I get scared that I could be addicted to something, I always force myself to put it down and see if like if I have like an inkling to go back to it. And I tried it and I didn't. I was freely able to like put it down, but I have like, I guess you could say training, because I told you I used to vape nicotine, and so I used to vape it all the time because it's really easy, because especially like vapes also help with like people who like to fidget, because it's like something to do with your mouth and your hands, and so that's what I would do it for. But I was always afraid. It's like, oh wait, like I keep grabbing for it. Am I addicted to this because it's nicotine? And it was like, it was no, actually. What I did was every 2 or 3 weeks I would like put it down for like a week, and usually it will be a lot longer than the week because I'll just forget about it. And then I'll be like, one morning I'll be like, huh, whatever happened to my vape? Let's try it again. And then I started up again. So when it comes to my my Delta 8, I kind of have that same feeling though. Even now, even after I put it down, I only put it down for like a day. But I told myself that I was gonna put it down for a day, because the reason that I use my Delta 8 is so that I can eat. And so if I don't smoke my Delta 8, then I can't eat a lot. I can only eat like as much as my brain will let me. And sometimes that's like 1 meal a day, and sometimes that's 2. Like usually it's like max 2 meals a day. If I let my brain, worry about that. So normally I take it to eat, but if I, become dependent on it, like that's gonna be fucked.
Yeah, like in the long term.
Yeah, exactly. So it's still something that I have in my mind. It's in the back of my head. I should like make sure to not get addicted to it. I don't really feel addicted to it yet.
Like as a crutch to eat.
Yeah, exactly. I always say, especially when I was dealing with my significant other who abused drugs a lot, I would always say like, you should be able to like you said, you should be able to be happy and have fun sober.
Yeah.
All drugs are for is to like add on to that experience. It's not supposed to just be the thing that makes you have fun.
Yeah.
In my opinion, because then you'll start to relate fun with that
with
thing.
the drugs or like whatever you have.
Exactly, and that's called a mental addiction.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally understand how you feel.
Yeah, I think I need to just obviously not just straight up binge drink for 2 weeks and then just stop, but just like every 2 weeks or like have just like a sober weekend, because like something I like really struggle with now that I'm working like a normal job, like normal hours, like I actually have weekends off again, and it's like all I want to do is just like literally get fucking wasted and black out and then wake up the next day and do it again until Monday. But it's like that's not healthy, and like that's not enjoying like the 2 days I have off. So yeah, I think it's something I need to like just like put my bootstraps on and just like be really hard with myself internally to like do sober weekends.
It's very hard to keep yourself
like accountability.
Yeah, exactly. Like to look back on yourself and say, okay, that was me, I did that wrong.
Yeah.
But I like to take pride personally, and like that's all I do. So I always tell people, so like a good way to describe my ADHD is that my brain is constantly chattering. There's always something going on. And I've luckily been able to, turn that into just, never being bored, always being able to think about something. But those things that I always think about, especially when a long time ago, those things that I thought about was like very depressive things and sad things and stuff like that. Like, oh, fuck you. Like, how could you do this? But now it's like, that was just stupid. Probably fix that. Why are you addicted to this thing? Or like, maybe you should, instead of watching this video, maybe you should work. Like, I'm always trying to look at myself and say, all right, am I doing good? Am I doing stuff that'll help me for my future, especially the future that I'm trying to go for? And yeah, I like to do that. I love to do that. I love to like, that's why I like my friends to be very, very like real. Yeah. Because I like them telling me what's wrong with me, and then I can say, okay, I can fix that. You can think
about it, yeah. And like, thank you. I didn't notice that about myself.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's another thing I really like about my husband. Like, we can call each other out on it. Like, we'll both be like, yeah, we need to stop like straight up binge drinking. Or like the other day, I had like literally 5 beers and I felt like shit. Obviously, the next morning, he's like, yeah, you kind of had like way too many. I was like, yeah, I fucking know. I have a fucking headache. Thank you. So yeah, like we'll both like, he'll probably hold more of myself accountable, because I think as he gets older, as he turns 30, like literally. Yeah. And the 30s. Yeah, as he turns like 30 in December, he's like having more of a realization now that he is older and now that he can't like binge drink. Like, yeah, this like doesn't feel good the next morning. Yeah. And so he's like, yeah, Kelsey, like we do need to have sober weekends for just, our well-being and to have fun sober, not be relying on this crutch.
Exactly.
So yeah, I do definitely agree with you. Like, we've come full circle where it's like we have the both kind of like the same problems that we're dealing with eternally, but yet we also have like the same resources to help us, like through people.
Exactly. Yeah.
Calling us out on our shit.
Exactly. Because I'm in what is it? I wish I knew like a better phrasing, but it's just like I'm intelligent, but I'm very stupid. Like
Yeah, like the whole Google, how tall are you?
Yeah.
From
So wait, what was
feet
it?
to inches?
Yeah, it was actually
the
the test. It asked me how tall are you in inches, and I was like, how the fuck are you supposed to figure that out? And then,
Called Google, my man.
yeah, it's not even
know
like
the math.
I was just like, wait, I just have to multiply like the number by 12, like, and it's just like, oh yeah, I forgot. It's that
No.
simple.
That's funny.
That was really funny. And yeah, I'm not smart all the time. I'm very very like read up. That's what I like to say. And I'm very like philosophical. So I'm very like I can speak on situations philosophically. And I'm pretty good at like feeling people's emotions and understanding people's emotions. Understanding is a better word. Just yeah, I'm better at understanding people's emotions. So like I'm that, but I do so much dumb shit. Like so much dumb shit.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times I know it's dumb. Like I'm like doing it, I'm like, this is really dumb. And then I do it, and then afterwards I'm like, that was really fucking dumb.
Yeah, I could see that. Like when you told me how, I guess it was good on you as a boyfriend, going to Japan and being with your significant other and helping them. But I'd be like, if I was your friend, I'd be like, dude, fucking turn your phone off. You just spent all this money. We're fucking Japan.
Yeah.
Like, we need to enjoy this moment. Because, like, I can predict the future and I see something really bad called COVID-19 happening.
Yeah.
So, like, fuck your phone. I probably would have thrown it in the water, honestly.
So for those who don't know, the context is when I went to Japan as my graduation, like it wasn't a present, but I just did it for graduation for myself after graduating college. My significant other had very very many like mental issues. Like that's the reason why like one, I feel very I feel like I can speak about mental illness from not only the first person perspective, but also the third person's perspective. But they had a lot of mental issues, and I had to deal with that in Japan. And I was just trying to make sure that like everything was correct, like good over there, and I kind of took for granted the fact that like I was there, so that's the reason why like I was very comfortable like making sure that like everything was okay.
Yeah, you didn't put yourself first in this situation.
Yeah.
Where obviously you can't just be like, fuck you, leave me alone, but you have to at least be like, hey, like, I'm in Japan. It's 5 a.m. I'm kind of tired. I love you, but
the problem is that like I think on the first day they had already gotten into some mess. So like I was like cleaning up that mess. And yeah, it was really hard, and honestly, I don't think there was a choice for me to like close my phone. I think that no matter what, I would have rather, even though my trip did kind of get ruined for it, I would rather help somebody, honestly. So not like 10 times out of 10, I would have still chosen to help, but it still sucked that I did have to deal with it. And this isn't to say like, you know, all mental illness is like annoying to deal with or whatever, but my significant other there was a lot of mental illness that needed to be focused on, and because we were dating, what else needed to be focused on was us dating, us being together. And the thing is that the thing is if you have two things to worry about, one of them is going to get like less of the light. And they were very like physically loving, and so like and loving just in general, so they put love and like love first, so they tried to make the togetherness work, but they didn't make themselves work, so there was just a big
can't like
problem.
love anyone.
Yeah, exactly, or it's gonna be rough, and it was really really rough. And so I ended up calling it. I'm the one who had to say it. I was like, this unfortunately isn't going to work anymore. Like it really sucks, because that was one of those decisions that you make that I didn't want it, but I knew it was correct. Yeah,
you knew you had to do it.
It really fucking sucked, because I really liked my significant other. Like they had their mental issues, and honestly, there was a lot that like I wish that like if they were a lot older, they would have, because they're 20. They were just turning 20 when we started dating, and I was in my 23. I was like 23. So like if they were a bit older, especially like had already like, you know, been 21 to have have the alcohol stuff. Yeah, if they were older, they would have seen a lot of the things that they were saying and like been like, oh, that's very childish. That's very like, yeah, that's very childish.
Yeah.
Why would I say something like that? But they weren't. They didn't have that experience of like living on their own yet. I ended up taking them like living with them the first week that we knew each other. And the reasoning for that was because like they were having trouble at home and they lived with their parents. And so like I was just like, you know what? Like I don't know anything about the situation, but from what they were telling me, it was really horrible. It was annoying. And I was like, all right, you come over here, you know, why not? You know, you're 20. You can consent. Do this. Yeah, you can leave. And they were like, yeah, sure. And so we lived together, and it was rough. It was rough. And something that I had ended up having to find out was that I had my own problems that I had to deal with before I met them. And before I met them, I didn't really think about my problems a lot. I just like, I thought it was normal to wake up and just not want to do anything. Like I thought it was normal to wake up one day and just be like, I don't want to do fuck all, even though I know that I need to do. You need to
get up and do something.
I thought that was normal. I would just call it like a bad day. Until I went to the therapist and they were like, no, you're not. That's not a bad normal. Day. It's not normal to. There was something else that I forgot. But there was something else that was also just not normal that I just thought was normal. Oh yeah, like it's not actually that normal to constantly not necessarily think about like killing yourself, but like having morbid thoughts of of like death and all that. Like that's not normal either. That's like
abnormal.
Also, that's abnormal. That's like not, you're not supposed to.
You
like,
don't normally think about stuff like that.
So yeah, like you never know until you start finding out. So
or you talk to somebody outside of like your normal friend group,
exactly,
and they can give you that perspective that you don't see or like your friends don't see.
Exactly.
I think that is a good point, like why therapy is just good, even if it's for one session. But like you said before, like you definitely have to find somebody that works with you, not just for you. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's hard in general to find somebody who, you know, you are cool with.
Yeah.
Right. It's you know, you only have like one or two best friends out of, or you know, a handful of best friends out of all the people in the world that you meet. So therapists are going to be similar. Now, granted, it won't take that long because I think that it's, you know, there's not a lot of them, so you're easy to find. You know, that kind of like
the section's very small.
But it is pretty rough. But something that I did want to like specifically point out was something that I did, which was I swore off all what is it called? Dating. Yeah.
Okay.
I swore off all dating and relationships the year of COVID, but not because of COVID. At the like January 1st, I said, all right, for the rest of this year, I'm not looking for any dating. I'm not looking for, you know, that at all. And
that's
so I did.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because I needed to work on myself. There was so many things that was just blowing around in my mind that I just don't want to put on my significant other, because something that I saw firsthand was that when you don't have your own shit dealt with, or at least
it spills over.
Yeah, it spills over, and you start like causing problems for your significant other, even if it's on accident. So I wanted to do my part and take some time out, and I think a lot of people need to do that as well. Like
I think so too.
You have a lot of time.
That is true, and even if it's like, okay, for my case, like you're obviously single and not married, but I think for me, even being married, just like taking this weekend to like see you and record this episode, and like my husband trusting me to come over to your place with your roommates and your fat cat and being able to record this, and I was like texting him saying,
yes.
But even just like me or him having that trust in me, and it's not a whole big deal.
Yeah.
And I like texted him and I said, hey, thank you again for like letting me come over and just do this episode, because like it really does mean a lot to me. And just like taking time, even if it's a fucking 8-hour drive and you're gonna kill yourself, but maybe I shouldn't say kill myself, but you just want to like, I don't know, just fly on a plane instead of drive yourself.
Yeah, you just want it to end.
Exactly. I want to get to my destination in like an hour, not 8. But just like taking this weekend too to like see my mom
Yeah.
and like my sister because it is Mother's Day, and I can see them because it's only 8 hours. It's not like 18 hours away. So yeah, just even if you're married, just taking a break for yourself, even if it's going to the beach by yourself for an hour, like walking your fat dog by yourself, or I don't know, locking yourself away and playing video games with friends.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
I let him do that because I'm like, that's your time. I don't bother him. I try not to. And then I don't sit in the room with him. So I let him do his thing, and like he lets me do my thing, and we just tell each other what's going on. But yeah, I think no matter your status, just taking time for yourself. If that's a year, a week, an hour, and just like reflecting on you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you don't do that, like you're gonna like not be good for anyone else, not even yourself.
Something that I'm one also, if you yourself already know this, then you should 100% spread it around to, especially to your friends, the understanding that like, therapy is okay, working on the mental health, because something that's very interesting is that Nabil started taking his mental health a little bit more seriously, and I found that amazing. Like he was talking about how much he was like researching and getting into it and stuff like that, and I was like, congratulations, and that's what I said, because they deserve to be congratulated. And so I wanted to say, don't forget to congratulate like the people around you who do take that step forward, because some of them are not used to thinking like, oh, mental health is something important, when it's like one of the most important things. Like your mental health changes so much. Like it's probably even the reason why your grades are like sometimes your grades are low, or like why it's hard to go out with friends and stuff like that. Like mental health is very, very, very important.
It definitely has a outward effect, outward and internal effect on not only you, but the people around you. And backstory: Nabil is actually the person that introduced us.
Yes,
he is our common friend.
Common denominator.
Yes, he is. Go math.
Go math.
It's funny.
Yeah, he's very I mean, he came from a very like traditional like African family. In fact, he's an immigrant. And so like, of course, mental health isn't that big there, and it's probably even like, if you're crazy, then you're crazy, and that's it. And it's insane that he's taking this step forward. Actually, I'm very, very, very proud of him. And even when he didn't understand some things, because we ended up having a discussion, and we were talking about how important. Actually, it's fun how this works with our topic today, but we were talking about how important mental health is in the long run. Even if you have all the doctors in the world. And I personally think that your mental health is always important. It's always one of the most important things in the world. So even if you have depression and you have all the best doctors in the world, you have all the best care in the world, do understand that your depression still exists, and you are going to have to deal with like just the knowing that you have depression, and
you always have to deal with it.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter if you're like in a good state or a bad state, but just like recognizing that it is and not like a bug you can just flick off, but it's something that will always just be with you. Yeah,
but like, and I don't mean that in a very like morbid way. I mean it more like, because like you can not feel your depression, but still acknowledge that you do have depression, and take steps in your life to make sure that you don't have to worry about the things that the depression causes. So let's say that like you're going on a trip. Well, you want to make sure that you have enough medication for the trip if you're taking medication. That's something that, even though you're not feeling the effects of the depression, that's still the depression still being a factor in your life. That's what I mean. I don't want it to sound like, for somebody who has depression to feel like, oh, there's no way out because I'll never stop feeling it. It's not that at all. There's medication that'll help you a lot. I'm actually taking medication right now, and it works wonders. And I don't usually have to worry about the effects of it until I stop taking my medication. But yeah, because of that, because sometimes I stop taking my medications, because sometimes I like, I go on a trip and I don't have enough or something like that. Because of that, I still have to worry about like, depression in my life. But I think that's a small price to pay to be happy.
I think so too. And I think it's great that we have like not only technology but just the resources to really help us discover what we may be going through, because anxiety, depression, eating disorder, PTSD, postpartum, like they're similar in that they affect your mental state, but they're all very different because they affect different parts of like your body, how your brain works. So I think it's nice that we have resources. So should we get into our results?
Absolutely.
After that?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have yours ready?
I remembered them. I didn't.
Okay,
actually.
I did not remember mine. So good for you.
So for the depression one, I actually took it as if I was me a couple months, like actually a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Mainly me when I was having my problems, or rather not even then, not even like after like the breakup, because the breakup did hurt, but before the entire like situation, like just how I would have reacted when I used to think that like all of that was normal.
Yeah.
And so I answered it, and it was like, no, you have like mild to severe depression.
Okay.
And so no, I was depressed. Even I tried to answer as though I would, when I felt like everything was all right, and like like it was really bad, like it obviously was really, really bad, and I didn't know. So no matter what, I think you should always like double check and like make sure that you have a therapist to help you figure out if you have depression or not. Like even if you think it's perfectly fine, I can deal with the sad days, it's not worth it. Like I thought at one point that like even with the sad days, I'm like, it's worth it.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, exactly. I'll take it. It's just one of those days. I'll get over it next day. That's not normal, and you don't have to feel like that. And so I think that's so important to know.
Yeah, I think so too. I also got mild depression, and I answered this. So it's just me answering the question. I want to say I agree, but like I kind of don't. I didn't really understand like more. Maybe I should have just so it asked like more than half the days, or several days, or not at all, several days, kind of see, or somewhat difficult. So I think for one I put like more than half the day, but I thought I meant like just half of a day. But I would kind of agree. Sometimes I do get kind of depressed, but it's only if like my husband doesn't give me enough attention, because my love language is through like not attention, but what is it again? Spending time.
Yeah, spending time.
Yeah, so like if he doesn't spend enough time with me, I get kind of like depressed about it, because I'm like, you come home, he gets up really early, and obviously has to go to bed really like early. So it's like I only see him for like a 3-hour window, and it's kind of like on the weekends I can see you for more than 3 hours. Don't fucking fall asleep right now. But that's just me need to communicate with him. So I thought that was a pretty good test. I
think it probably does hit more than you think.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of symptoms of depression that you don't really think about when you hear about depression. You think of somebody who's sad, somebody who doesn't want to leave their room, like usually that type of stuff. But then there are like tons of things with depression. Of course, eating, it also runs into depression. Of course, mood, of course, but sad mood, it doesn't equal depression. Gloomy mood also could equal depression. And sometimes I might be talking about out of my ass here, so take this section for like zero, like what it is. Yes. But I think even depressed people can get like extremely excited and very, very like
very highs.
Yeah, they can have really highs too. So just because somebody has highs doesn't mean that they're not depressed. I was one of them.
I think, aren't we like all just like a little depressed on the inside? Like if you think about that, life is so like trivial and hard, and there's so many factors, like we're all kind of depressed.
The interesting part about that is depression isn't binary. It's not on or off. It's actually a spectrum. And so all people are on some part of that spectrum. And do note that is very important, that like your mental, you're never like the same as the next guy around you. There's always something different. There's always some different part of your brain juice is what I like to call it. There's some difference in between there. And so like just like you can be a little bit more depressed than the other guy. Now, to be fair, it's probably you probably can be like on the end of the depression that's like it's not depressed, it's like it's like negligible,
like a mood swing or just something,
or just like not, or you can still not be depressed, like not have depression at all and still be on that spectrum, because sometimes, you know, I think that like even the, and again I say like on the negligible part of the spectrum, but like, you know, depression is probably like, if depression was a chemical, like a set of chemicals in your brain at one time, right? Then like everyone's like can be closer to it, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by the spectrum. So at one end it's like little to
very
no depression,
small.
yeah, if not zero,
yeah,
or negligible. And on the other hand, it's fucked. And
yep. There you go. We have negligible to fucked.
Negligible and fucked meaning you need to talk to somebody. You can't do it alone. Yeah.
So would you get on anxiety?
Even if, really quick, even if you don't think you have depression, even if you don't have depression, you can still go to a therapist.
That's true, though.
Yeah.
Anything. A therapist can help you with.
They help you with so much. They help you understand a lot of the problems that you had in your past that sometimes you don't even know were problems, and they might help you understand some of those quirks that you have that you didn't think like connected to anything, but it might have actually connected to something. So that's what I wanted to interject.
I like that. You don't need therapy for your mental breakdown.
Yeah, exactly.
You can use them for everything, all seasons.
Yeah, if you're a religious person, the best way, like the best, you know, thing synonymously is like, you're not supposed to go to God when you're just having a bad day. You're supposed to go to God like all the time. I'm personally not religious, by the way, but I know this because I've lived in a religious house, and so like you're supposed to talk to God all the time, because like, you know, yo, what's up? Like, hey, how's it going? Like that's what it means to pray, and that's what it means to have faith, and, you know, be a religious person. And same thing with your therapist. Like, everyone can use a therapist. Everything in your life, there's always something that you didn't think about, which was probably very important. Okay, now we can talk about the anxiety.
Okay, I like that though. Therapy, good for everyone.
Yeah,
that's our conclusion.
I think it should actually be like, you know, a doctor, like you go to doctor visits. You just go to like, you know, once a month, like, or once a year. Yeah, once a year maybe. Just go talk to somebody. Exactly. I think that should be a thing, and we're probably getting close to it.
You think so? I could see that. It's like going to your primary care manager.
Exactly.
I actually need to go because I didn't go all of 2020, and I need to go to 2021.
You should probably do that.
I probably should. Hey.
I actually went to my first physical after like 6-7 years.
Nice.
Like last year August.
Yeah.
No, the year before last August. Like no, last year August. Yeah, last year
August.
Yeah, 2020 August was when I had my first physical in several years, and I had my first dentist appointment in several years, and that was really nice because I ended up having a job with, you know, insurance. So
same. Now I have braces. So
yeah, now you have braces. Yep. They are very bright.
Thank you. Yes, they are very bright, and they fuck up my gums.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways, let's get off my braces.
Okay.
So, for anxiety, I got mild. Or no, I can't fucking read. Minimal. So, yeah, I don't really get that anxious over a lot of things. Maybe just big groups or just with people I don't know. Only because, well, I mean, it's not a thing anymore because COVID, I guess. But yeah, just with people. Pre-COVID, just going out with people I don't know. So.
Yeah. I think mine was like mild to like, I think it was like mild to medium. It was like that. It was that same kind of weight. Yeah, in the middle. They didn't have a lot of questions that I feel like would have.
They're very general.
Yeah, because my anxiety is just panic attacks.
Yeah.
Like I don't have problems with anything when it comes to the world. I'm actually really good at just like being okay with everything. Even when I was like super depressed and I wanted to kill myself, the reason why was just because I just had nothing to do, and I just was like, okay, well, nothing's happening. So you know, I don't know if like literally nothing would matter, right? And I didn't feel like anything was sad. I didn't feel like I had money troubles. I don't. I had like housing troubles. I don't. I have like people troubles. I don't.
It just stirred up.
Yeah, it just stirred up. Yeah, it was just it just comes out of nowhere, my panic attacks. And so yeah, that's all I have. But my panic attacks are extreme. I basically become a robot in like social situations with a bunch of people who I don't know and who I'm trying to impress. And sometimes it's just out of nowhere, just randomly. Just usually it'll spark by some thought, but the panic wouldn't be on that thought. Like I wouldn't be like, oh, that thought, I'm panicking about it. It'll just be like a thought, and it's just like panic, and it's just like, stop.
Yeah,
stop.
calm
This
down.
is fine. Calm down.
You're okay. You're okay, Alex. There, buddy.
I think because I feel so little anxiety normally.
So when you feel it, it's
So
like
when I
this
feel it,
massive
yeah.
wave of like what's going on.
Yeah, but I went to therapy for that, so yeah.
That's good. I don't really want to talk about this one because I hated the questions. But for we also did the eating disorder. So I got at risk for avoidance / restrictive food intake disorder, which I don't really agree with because I'll eat anything.
Yeah.
I guess maybe the at risk for avoidance, like if I'm not hungry, I like just won't eat, even if it's only been like one meal.
Exactly.
And it's like the middle of the day, but usually my body will be like, you need to eat, because if I don't eat, I like can't function.
Exactly.
So like then I'm like, okay, I'll eat something. I didn't like that test. I didn't like the questions. They're very
Yeah.
They're too broad.
Yeah, I think they were trying. So the reason, because I think that our eating disorder. So I got the same one. I got the same one that you got, and and I feel similarly. I don't stop myself from eating.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with my body.
Exactly.
I just don't eat.
Yeah. Like when it said, do you get nervous when you gain like 3 pounds? I'm like,
yeah,
no,
I'm
I'd
like,
be
no.
really happy.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, dope, cool, yeah.
I'd be like, thank you.
But what I noticed recently was how normal it feels to have an empty stomach for me. And that's why like I'll be like, my stomach will be rumbling, and it's just kind of like I was like, I'd be
whatever.
like, yeah, whatever, I can ignore this, like especially since like I'm a busybody.
Yeah.
So I will always like be doing something. So when I'm doing something, I will for sure forget about it or just ignore it. And even when I'm not doing something, sometimes it's just like I just can't be bothered.
Yeah, my body won't let me do that. When it starts rumbling, I get like very agitated and I get very annoyed. So I'm like, okay, I need to eat something.
I'm like
in
a constant state of rumbling. That's like my normal. It's very strange. And so like I was talking to my therapist about it, and we both understand that it's not like I don't have a disorder.
Yeah. You're just like used to it.
Yeah, I'm just like, I think I just have a regular old problem. Like, hey, you should probably just eat more. Like you need to probably get a little bit more motivation to eat, because that's usually the problem. And that's why I started taking Delta 8, was so that I can start actually like Delta 8 is special weed. It's good weed. It's actually legal in a lot of states that weed actually is not. It's made by the TH8 whatever.
Yeah.
Look it up.
Someone federal.
Yeah.
Something.
It's like it's weed light, I'd like to call it. And it only lasts an hour for me. And also it still gives you the munchies. So I smoke it so that I can get the munchies, so that I'm now hungry and now I want something, and so now I'm motivated to go get something to eat, rather than not taking it, and I'm just like, no, I just
Yeah, like just something to help you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hated the questions. Thought they were too broad. It asked more about the population, not the sample.
Yeah.
Statistics. Yeah. Do you have anything else about mental health that you want to say that we didn't already touch about?
As someone who had a significant other who was who had mental health problems, and I myself had mental health problems, mental health is super, super important. It's really hard, and I understand it. It's really hard to be able to look at yourself. Like, I don't think most people can do it. I think most people aren't really used to, calling themselves out. And so of course that's why you need people who will call it out for you. But if somebody's calling it out for you, personally, I trust that person to the end. Like, again, that's why I love my friends, because they will tell it to me straight. When I was first starting music, I would send them shit and they would say, this is trash. Of course they would give constructive feedback as well, but also because we're like this is my guy groups of friends, so we just probably tell each other to kill themselves, but we're in a joking way, of course. So yeah, they'll just say, no, this is absolute trash, and I'm like, okay, what do you think could be better? And they're like, oh, this can be better. And if I didn't have that, I wouldn't know my shit's trash, because I thought, like, I would think that those were good, and then I look back on it and I'm like, oh yeah, that was really trash.
That was terrible. Thank you.
I tried dubstep one time. It just was it was
bad.
It was pretty bad. But yeah, and also for if you live or have a significant other who has mental issues, that is a big ask. And if you have doubts, I would say you probably need to. It's important that you look more into it if you want to continue with this person. Because my problem was that we were talking about living together forever. And my problem was that I was like, I don't know if I can do this forever. I don't know if I can
deal with
everything
with that's
forever.
Going on, not necessarily outside the relationship, because it is a part of your relationship, but it's like, this isn't the healthy part. Yeah. Like, this is the unhealthy part that you should be looking inside yourself first before getting together with me. Exactly.
And the problem with my significant other was that they didn't want to change. So that's very, very, very important. If you cannot change someone who does not want to change.
That's true.
It is not up to you to fix somebody. It is up to that person. Yeah. Of course, you give them the tools, and that's what I like to do. I love to help people. I love seeing smiles on people's faces. It's my favorite thing in the world. But the one thing that I had to give up was that I can't help them, and that in fact I feel like I was making their the situation worse, because I was literally I was the distraction away from the main problem. And so although I would point it out and I'd be very, very straightforward, because I'm very straightforward, it still wouldn't move. And so I needed to sit down, look at everything and say, is this something that I can deal with forever? Is it something that I should be doing right now? I actually wanted to wait. I wished that we had met in the future, because I feel like we would have been so much better off. Yeah. But because we met then, unfortunately, it happened how it happened. And hopefully they've changed a lot. I've heard back from them. Rarely. We talk maybe once a year. We're not on bad terms. We're not on super good terms. We're just on neutral terms. And I heard back from them, and one thing was that they were like, oh yeah, I drink too much. And I was like, wow, that's something that that was something that I kept trying to let them know. I was like, okay, what? I was strange in that I had to stop them from drinking, because they were drinking themselves blackout, every single time, binge drinking every single time. And it was scary, because they were very, very thin, and so they would fall out. Yeah. So it would be weird, especially it was July 4th where they just went ham on the drinking. And so you would just see them standing up, and then blop, they would drop to the ground. Oh my god. And so I'm picking them up, and I'm putting them on the car, the hood of the car, and I'm like, all right, we need to chill. And they were still drinking, and I was just like, no, I'll drink it. And I was like, I'll throw it out, and they're like, no, I want to drink it. And I was like, no, I'll drink it. No. And I said that I'll drink it, but I just threw it. I just threw it out. And yeah, that entire day I was just dealing with them and and all of that. Yeah. So it took a really big effort to sit down and make sure that everything was okay, and that I needed to do what I needed to do. And what it showed was that I needed to get out, and yes, I needed to get out for them and for me, not because it was a bad relationship technically. I think the relationship was still up in the air, because we don't know if it would have been a good relationship, because we were both dealing with our own demons. But it's just something that needed to be done. Yeah, they needed to work on themselves, and surprisingly, what I found out later was that I needed to work on myself. So yeah. That's very important.
Overall, you need to work on yourself. Is pretty much this episode.
Yeah.
Look within.
Treat yourself. Treat yourself. That is there. Always have a treat yourself day. Honestly, like sometimes don't spend your money like all in one place, of course, but sometimes just like
do something for
something for yourself, like because you need to know that you're worth it. You need to instill to yourself that you're worth it, because you are worth it. All of you, everyone who's listening to this, you're worth it.
Yes.
You're important and you're cared about. And even if you don't, the thing is that not only are you cared about by the future people that you're going to learn about later, but you're also cared about by people who don't even know you, because I care about you. I'm the type of person who I will throw myself in front of a car if I can save somebody's life, even if I don't know this person. That's who I am personally. Now, granted, I would want to make as much change as possible positively, but I think in a split second I might actually do that. And it's because I care about people. I don't like people, but I care about people, and I want what's best for everyone. And I feel like you need to know that. You need to know that people care for you, and so you will meet those people for sure. For sure. I think most people are open to caring about someone. And so just because you might be in a bad situation right now, and it's really hard to always say this, and this is something that I had to learn with my significant other, is that it's hard to tell somebody keep going, especially when shit is going wrong. But the most you can say is that it's gonna get better. It's gonna be rough now, but it's gonna get better, and you need to work on yourself. And if there's other outside forces, being there, then you have there's so many hotlines, there's so many
there's so many
phone
resources.
Numbers. Like
it's so accessible too.
Abusive parents can be 911, and there's probably some other hotline or whatever for that type of stuff. And suicide hotline, I use the suicide hotline. I talked to somebody who knew nothing about me, and it felt so opening that this person I have no clue who listened to me. Sometimes people just want someone to listen to.
That is true.
Yeah, and that's what they did, and it actually opened the world for me, because it opened up. When I was dealing with my significant other, we like to talk, and I like to, and especially with their problems, I'm the type of person who wants to fix problems. So I like to try to say, oh, maybe this is how you can fix it and stuff.
Yeah.
But what I learned was when I was going through it, people kept telling me to fix it, or here's how to fix it. I'm like, I'm not looking for you to tell me how to fix it. I just want you to listen to me. And fun fact, I called my other ex, who we're on actual good terms, and she listened to me, and we were chill, and it was really good, and it was a good time. So the suicide hotline, it's not scary. I know you think it's scary. It's not scary.
Yeah.
These people they're just chilling. They're not gonna, I don't think they even can call the police on you. They're just there to listen to you. And even if you think that you might not have, depression, or you might not be that close to killing yourself, I still think that either a therapist or even the suicide hotline, if that's just a thought, is a good idea, because you would be surprised how amazing it is for somebody who has no clue who you are, no stake in the game at all, just listening to you. And it was just amazing. So suicide hotline for sure. We should have that in the description of this video.
Yeah, and we will.
Awareness. Yeah, exactly.
It is. Yeah, so I enjoyed this conversation about mental health.
I did too.
I think my 3 takeaways are: you gotta work for yourself before you can love anyone else. Take advantage of all the resources out there, because they're all literally at our fingertips. And if you need someone to literally listen to you from thinking about killing yourself, or you're just feeling really depressed, honestly, just call the suicide hotline, because they'll just listen to you. So,
exactly.
Yeah,
please find someone. There's so many people. I feel like again, there's so many more people out there that's willing to help you than that's willing to hurt you.
Yeah, or that you even know of.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally.
Yeah, sometimes you feel like your friends don't even care. And one thing is just, I took Molly with my friends one time. and we finally talked it out, and I aired all of the things, all the dumb ideas that I had. Like, I felt like, you know, I was just an add-on in their group, and because they would never like call me and like specifically ask me to go out. And so I was like, oh, I'm just like, you know, just that random person or whatever. And like, I just didn't feel like I was an actual true friend to them. And then we opened up to each other.
Yeah.
And I learned that no, that's not the case at all. It was a misunderstanding.
Yes.
You will be surprised what people actually like, you know, the misunderstandings that you can actually get from all of this, because your friends, especially if they're really good friends, they really love you and they care for you for sure. Absolutely. So really good. Yeah, I guess for my 3 takeaways, like you said, care for yourself. Eating disorders are crazy. And just like, you got this.
Yeah, I like that. To finish the thought, you do got this. And mental health shouldn't be just for 1 month, it's for all the months.
Exactly.
And you do got this.
Yeah. So if we're gonna close out now.
Yeah.
Okay, so next week's episode is actually going to be on the movie.
Yeah.
And on porn.
Yep.
we thought of the idea of
meshing porn and mental health,
doing like one half porn and one half mental health, and we were like,
that's probably not good.
That's probably not.
That's not the mesh you want.
Yeah, I don't know if that's tasteful at all.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, and so I'm really glad that we actually had this, because this was actually a pretty good discussion. It was very long too. So
yeah, I enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining our conversation.
Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications.
And we will see you in the next chat.